you with the box. What was in the box? What's in the box?
All right, we're going to start here in a couple minutes. Please bear with me. Just starting at noon. I'm trying to do that for the rest of this week. I'm going to go at noon every day outside of a baby emergency upstairs. My son is upstairs. He's with his mom. So it's cool. But, you know, sometimes got to go upstairs. What's up, Dave? How you doing? Dave, I want you to know that the Justice League Batmobile that you got my son is upstairs in his room. So it will not be featured in the basement blog at all. Just letting you know. Okay, I got about another minute here. I'm going to break down basically what I'm doing so that we can just get right into it. This is Bob's Basement Toy Blog from Total Toy Recon. With the free time that we have on our hands right now, we're looking to fill content in the best possible way. And I figure, gotta tackle the basement anyway. Let's go through the boxes and the tubs that I have, find out what I have, what's worth keeping, what I forgot I had, what got damaged in the moves. I moved to LA for a year and everything went into storage. And when I moved back, I lived in several apartments. So everything got put into tubs. And as toy collectors know, you keep buying new stuff and you really don't get rid of the old stuff. It just seems to get packed away somewhere. So these tubs are a culmination of several years worth of moving around. This episode will feature a purple tub that I found and a hard wooden box. If you hold up the box here in case you can't see it. This hard wooden box. Now, big indication of where we're going to go today is on this side of the box. It says Gi Joe, which I wrote God knows when. But we will get into the box in a second. But we're going to get rolling on the purple tub. Now, I know I looked into the tub. There's some things in here that we're definitely going to have to set up here on this as we piece through it to find out what's in there. Now, there will be some mentions of some previous episodes because there are some things in here that were part of other boxes, apparently, or they're in the same vein. Sorry that you're working, Dave, but glad that you're spending your lunch with me. Now, we do have bags to bag up loose stuff. We have little individual figure bags in case we need them. And some things are already bagged, which is nice because I was thinking ahead, but they're more Ziploc sandwich bags. So let's get to the first item. I know we said we're going to do Gi Joe today, but here is the Imperial Shuttle. Now, this is a model. I believe that the wings still fold out. Cannons are still here, believe it or not. And this was a gift from a friend of mine. His name was Brett. He had painted this. He had all these models. He was really into ships and things. He had them all set up in his room. And then after The Phantom Menace, he decided that he didn't like Star Wars that much anymore and decided to move on. So he was going to throw them out, and I graciously took them all. So if you saw a couple other, I think it's maybe episode 3 of the Basement Blog, we did have several little ships of his. So, Brett, like I said, if you want them back, they're here. You probably even forgot you had them. Now, here is the McFarlane poster for the movie Maniacs, Edward Scissorhands. Now, Edward is packed away in a tub that I can see from here. It says horror figures. Most of those figures are holiday figures or movie-based figures, so I keep them close by. So we put Edward out at Christmas time, of course. But now to actually have the movie poster thing is actually really neat. So I'm going to set that here to make sure that that goes into the tub that I can see immediately. So here's a card for the Doctor Doom Secret Wars figure. I hope he's in here. Unleash the power of the purple tub. I will try to, Matthew. I will try to. Well, I am. We'll get to the purple tub. So this is the card. I got him at Circus World for, that was a rival of KB Toy Store, for $4.46, made by Mattel. And he was then reduced to $1.98. I got into Marvel Comics after the Secret Wars, so these figures were still floating around in retail stores. 84, 85, 86. That's about 86 is when I got into toys. Into comic books. So I was able to go through and find a bunch of these at retail stores. But let's just jump right to the next guy, because here is, I mean, this is sad. This is Kang the Conqueror from the same line of toys, and I retaped him back into the box. But he has, it's Kang, he has his gun is in here, he has the little shield that you can use to move different things. to tell different parts of the story. And on the back, he's actually fighting Wolverine. Kang versus Wolverine. Who would have thought, right? Very cool figure. Definitely I'll probably take him out of the pack since this package is pretty bad. But bought at Circus World at the same time as Dr. Doom there for $1.98. So, good deal. Good deal. Just trying to dig through here to see if Doom is actually in here. Here's a very bad pair of sunglasses. Look at these bad boys. These are flips. So, I believe these were in my baseball bag for years, so that I could play night games or day games and flip the shields down. Yeah. Okay. Those just went in the trash. Ooh! So here is the plastic coffin, as I refer to them now, for Dr. Doom. So let's see if Dr. Doom is in there. Don't know if he's in there. This is... Now, there's a good story for this one. So this is my original... Oh, wow. This is my original Mego Captain Kirk. And he kind of looks like more like Captain Kirk from Arena, where he's battling the Gorn because his shirt's ripped. Who would have thought that a beat-up toy would actually look like one you would actually buy? So this is my original Captain Kirk Mego. Now, he is from... Now, see, the problem with Mego is that they probably dated them when they first released them. But Star Trek had a weird release date because there were no toys at the time, and then it went into syndication, and then they needed toys. I really don't want to pull his shirt off because it's just hanging by a thread. Made in Hong Kong, Mego, 1974. So this toy has a date older than I am. I was born in 75. Doesn't mean that my parents couldn't have bought him then. But Kirk is well suntanned, as you can see. And the decal is off his jersey. And then, believe it or not, I still have his phaser. Now, I had Kirk and Spock when I was a kid, but Kirk was mine and Spock was my brother's. For some reason, my parents loved to give me the leader character or the hero character, and then give my brother the sidekick. Spock was taken from my brother by some bratty kid at a baseball game, softball game that my dad was playing at, and he got thrown into a field, a cornfield. We found Spock's jersey after they plowed over the field and took all the corn out. So it got shredded. But I did go and get the Mego Spock when Mego re-released them. I had to have them. I found them. I lucked out. I walked into a Target. I think it was like 2 days before Christmas, maybe last year or the year before. And there he was. And he was one of the first ones out, one of the hardest ones to get. And I just lucked out and found him. So he's going to get put into a better bag. But that is my original Mego Captain Kirk. And he looks like he's been well suntanned and definitely going to have a fun little bit of life with that guy. So here is a bag of Star Trek. This looks like loose stuff. In the very first tub I unboxed, there was all kinds of Star Trek figures. There was a Kirk, a Khan. I know I have Data and Picard as, here's action figure stand, Data and Picard as Romulans. There's Kirk's stand. So these are all their weapons. There's a communicator. There's a little dish that's got the indigenous life forms from SETI Alpha 5 that has survived. And the mass device. I mean, and I kept them all in a bag. And this is why you do this with toys. Now, a friend of mine, he told me he takes all of his son's weapons immediately as soon as he opens an action figure, and he puts them all into a bag and hides them so that one day he'll have them again, which I think is crazy, but that's a toy collector for you. So Khan is in a tub, which got moved into the other room, so we will definitely get back to him sooner and later and reunite all those pieces with those guys, and that's why we're doing this. So I have these extra bags. We'll put them in this. They're in other bags. Apparently, at one point, I tried to sell Dr. Doom for $5 at a yard sale. Why would I ever do that? I don't know. But, since I mentioned Victor Von Doom, there he is. This is one of my all-time favorite action figures. And, fortunately... Oh, God. Fortunately... I mean, this figure... Doom had so many Mattel accessories. I mean, he's clearly the bad guy and the protagonist of the Secret Wars. Oh, please tell me it's in here somewhere. Somewhere. All right, we'll keep going, but as I'm moving things are popping off of things. Doom has a rifle, too. So not only did Doom come with the shield that did the little story stuff, I still have his cards, and these are double-sided. So there's 4 of these cards, and then there's 1 on each side, and you just turn them and they do faces and stuff. They would reveal the hero's identity, but I still have the little bag that it came in. I'll worry about that later. But Doom shield, and then this awesome blaster. At one point, I had a whole bunch of these that I stuck them all on my birthday cake. I think I was like 11 or 12 at the time. I was just really into Marvel Comics, and I would stretch my allowance to make them all fit. To buy as many as I could. They were 75 cents. That dates me. Tells you they were 75 cents. And I would even buy books, stories at lines I wasn't reading because I had the extra money to buy the extra books. So hopefully Doom's rifle is in there. But otherwise, I mean, how can I complain? I have all the pieces but 1. But I'll probably just bag all that stuff together. So, what's up, Jordan? How's the baby? Hope everything's going good over on your end. So this is my original G.I. Joe Mauler, not Mauler. Is it the Mauler? No, this is the G.I. Joe big heavy gun cannon thing that I cannot remember. That is terrible. I love this thing. Cannot remember what this is called. I think it has some sort of sports name. I don't know. If anybody can remember what this thing is called who's watching, Matt or Jordan, let me know. But this was a big cannon thing. What you do is you would put this back here so it could do that. If you can see that. Yep, you can see that. And it would fire. Now, let's see what we've got here. So we've got the top piece here. This little plastic screw goes in there, and then the driver could sit in here like that, and then he could be in there and shoot. This doesn't open, but the wheels are all intact, and for some reason, I don't want to waste any Clorox wipes right now. I'd like to wipe everything down. I hit it with Q-tips, but I'll wait and do that later. Hopefully we have that time. But for some reason, there's all this pink, like almost like Easter egg, like a little Easter egg straw right here. I don't know why. That's weird. But I'm gonna put. It's not the Mauler. That's the tank. I forget what this thing was called. I love this thing, and it even has a hook on the back so you could tow stuff. I can't believe I have this much. I'm pretty sure I have the driver and the gun, because the gun was right here. So, which was just a modified gung-ho gun. Put it over here. But I had a lot of G.I. Joe stuff at its height, including the USS Flag. And then at one point in my life, I just decided that all of it had to go. And I got rid of the majority of it. I did keep the hovercraft. We do have a full build of the hovercraft here on Facebook and on our YouTube page and on Instagram. And so I did keep some things, but there was so much of it, I just had to get rid of it. So here is the first piece of the Mauler tank that we have. And here is the base. Now, I had recently reviewed, trying to put some of these pieces back together here. I had recently reviewed the new G.I. Joe, well, it's not new, but it's out like a year or so ago. The new the new Star Wars Rogue One tank. And that was $80 his initial price. I'm pretty sure this was about $35 to $40 something, because it actually has batteries. Like, you pull this off, not this one, or maybe it's underneath. Somewhere in here, nope, these are all toys. Somewhere in here, it's on the bottom. You would put on, here at the bottom, you'd put batteries in. Please don't have batteries in there. 4C batteries. And then you could get the tank to go forward, sideways. It could do all different kinds of maneuvers. Nothing too fancy, but it was a cool tank, and it has rubber tread. This toy is from like 1985, 86, 85. And I mean, the treads moved, everything. That new tank that Hasbro made was all look and no actual like mechanical parts that would make it move, which was ultimately depressing. And again, I really wish I had some Clorox wipes. This goes here and goes Wait a minute. Before I do that, snap some things back into place here. This is the problem when you move, especially things like this. There you go. Tank's good. Now, what do I got here in the realm of parts? So that's cool, and that's cool. And I'll get to the why I'm saying these things are cool. There is at least 2 little broken pieces of this tank in this case. So that's kind of depressing. But God only knows, and there's lots of other things floating around here. So here is one of the rubber flaps to the front here. The ones are, the 2 are on the back, and this is some sort of exhaust that goes, I know it goes here, and I should have another one to go on the other side. And then there were 2 antennas that came out the back of here. And then the other thing was there was a metal rope that went right here. That's been gone for years. This, don't know. But something like this, I don't know if I have the driver. Is he in there? No driver in there. 2 seats, but very Desert Storm tank. Very Desert Storm. The Mauler, I do have an extra gear piece for the treads down here for the wheels. So that's kind of interesting that I have that. And this little thing back here was how you would put it into which direction you wanted it to go. So I'd be really curious to see if it worked. I have the original Gi Joe tank, which I think I just packed away a day or 2 ago because it wasn't in a box. It was loose. I got it at Goodwill for $1. But this is one of my favorites. I never had the original Gi Joe tank when I was a kid, and this was my first tank. All the stickers are on it, of course. But what else was in the box here? So we've got at least one more thing, maybe 2. Here's an original Gi Joe pamphlet. Now this was old school because this had vehicles on it. It was called, where is it? It was called the Slugger. I knew it was something with a baseball. So this has a bunch of vehicles on it. So we've got the Slugger, the Wolverine, the Polar Bear, the Skyhawk, Manta, the Cobra Water Moccasin, the Fang, and a Hooded Cobra Commander. So some of this stuff has some mail-away things. And you can get the G.I. Joe subscription. So as toy collectors, this is like, and Sergeant Slaughter. Mail-away for Sergeant Slaughter. Toy collectors, this is stuff gold. I would love to frame this, because this one you can actually read, and this one's kind of upside down. That I would love to frame that. That's just so much fun. And then this was everything you could send away for. So you could get the Hiss tank for $4 and 4 flag points. So this must have been old stuff that they wanted to get rid of. Yeah, that's just the best. I just love old G.I. Joe stuff, and the new G.I. Joe stuff is cool. Oh, file card for the driver of the Slugger, which was Thunder. So I think Thunder may actually be in this box, because I don't think I would have gotten rid of him. So we're going to put the Mauler to the side here. Ironically, I am starting to run out of room because I need to put more of this away when you guys aren't watching. So, yeah, pieces. So I do have a little tub of miscellaneous parts that's been built up over here in the corner. And I've been using that as my basis of, I know I have this, and I know it's somewhere in here. So I've been just saving that kind of thing. So the Mauler is actually here, so put that there. And then put that down here. And I know this box is G.I. Joe. And magically enough, I found Dr. Doom's rifle, which they even included in just like his holster. I mean, Doom was so bad, man. I mean, this is an awesome figure that they even had. He's almost got like a rocket pack on his back. And then you could just insert this here. I mean, why would you not want Dr. Doom? Look at that figure. It's amazing. It's amazing. I might even do 2 retros reviews of these right here, because they're just so cool. Okay, so this is a bit odd, kind of hard to explain, but my mom worked next to a frame shop when she used to do stuff at like craft shows, and this guy would just frame random pictures to sell you the frame. And I like this because I was going to go to Penn State University, so I have a frame picture of a Nittany lion. Yeah. Penn State is a cult, if people did not know, in a good way, but it's a cult, so I definitely have that frame picture. Last thing in the tub, and there's some screws in here which are weird, and a wet nap. Here is, now if you'd watched some of the previous episodes, I talked a lot about Happy Meal toys. Here is, I guess I need one of those pull strings or something in there. But here is the Batman Beyond Batmobile. I think it may be launched or something. So somewhere in here I do have, and I know he's in there, I do have some more Batman Happy Meal toys. I mean, I had so many. That one episode was just almost all Batman Beyond, Batman the Animated Series stuff. And then to actually find cool stuff like this. So this is neat because you don't know if your kid's going to be able to play with the same things that you're going to show them, like cartoons and such. Because all that's available now. But the products aren't available. So this is a fun toy that my son will be able to play with. Interesting bag here. And kind of an interesting mix of things. Not really what I expected. So first up, we have a Kyle Wagner Green Lantern. This is from like Justice League Unleashed or something. I believe that's what it was called. Interesting that I would have this figure. This is the axe to Jason that we opened in the very first episode, the movie Maniacs Jason. So that's cool. I got that back. Didn't think I had that. Oh, so this is a belt. This is a belt of bullets that I'm pretty sure went to Rambo. The Rambo action figures that they made for, it was like Freedom Force. So that's an interesting find. Did not expect to see that ever again. Ah! Got a vintage Kenner Emperor Palpatine figure. I must have like 30 of these. My grandmothers, both of them, they loved to buy figures for us, cut the proof of purchases out, mail away for the figures, and then have them sent directly to the house. So we would get this surprise of an action figure, and then at Christmas we would get like 2 figures we didn't have with their backs cut off. And it's because we already got the figure ahead of time. So there's a Palpatine. Oh, this is cool. Rubber band. Not the rubber band. Here is Kyle's action figure stand. I believe these were made by Kenner towards the end. Parallax, the Green Lantern, actually made our top 10 Green Lantern figures back on St. Paddy's Day on the site. So, that's cool. And, okay, this is a machine gun to a Spawn figure, I believe. So that's kind of random. And I only have one Spawn figure, and that's Burnt Spawn from that wave. So I'm guessing I must have gotten him when I got the Burnt Spawn figure. This is the Gi Joe Recon Sled. So this is an interesting toy because you got to think about functionality and reality of a toy. The Recon Sled is basically a motorcycle, okay? But it's got treads here at the beginning that can go over any terrain. We got the motorcycle wheel in the back. It has a machine gun on this backside here, but it doesn't shoot straight ahead because you would hit the guy. It's for shooting behind and for shooting in the air. It's got machine guns on both sides, and then you put the guy's hands in and he leans into it. I don't have a Joe, but I will in about a minute. And I actually have the blueprints for this bad boy. So G.I. Joe always included instructions and blueprints. Can you tell I get a little upset with the G.I. Joe stuff, as in like an emotional upset? I do. Yeah. A lot of my youth was spent playing with these guys. Oh, and I found I believe this is a 12-sided die, which is, someone once told me, the hardest dice to play with is the 12-sided die. So, yeah, I made my own game once, and I needed 12, and I just went out and bought a random piece of dice, and it was 12-sided, and I made the game on the 12-sided die. So, interesting. Very interesting stuff. Found some loose pieces here, but we didn't get to the wooden box. So, Kyle, I'm going to put you there. The Emperor, I'm going to put you up here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. Good. And then, awesome that I found some loose stuff. But that will end up in its home, where it belongs. And then we're going to put out here, oh, Captain Kirk. So Captain Kirk can go back in the box for now. I'm kind of making a purge list. Things that I really want to take care of and move into something else that's a lot bigger. But I'm also concocting in my mind vehicles and things, pieces that I need, so that hopefully when all this is all over and conventions kick back in, I'm going to go to RetroCon in Oaks, and it's like a toy bonanza. There's like so much stuff there that you can find for toys that maybe I can find the bits and pieces that I need. Plus my friend Max, who owns Symbiote Collectibles up in Reading, Pennsylvania, he's got a lot of toys too. So every once in a while he'll get like a box full of stuff, and then I can go in and then maybe do a trade or deal with him. Very nice and honest guy. Maybe get some more of the parts that I need, or maybe I'll just give up and get rid of these parts and then trade them for something else that I really want. So now we're opening up the wooden box. Now, real quick, shout out to my great-grandfather, who I did know. He made these boxes for the back of everybody's car. This was his thing. It was like his version of like the strong box. So I believe my dad and I may have the only 2 left that are actually in cars. They've got like, you know, road flares and now glow sticks and your jumper cables and stuff. But this one I pulled from somewhere, and I'm not really sure where I got. I think it was one of his strong boxes, but he made this. It really should be restained and made slightly better, but considering the man died in like 1980 and this is now 2020 and I still have it, very cool. So here we go. First up out of the bat, we have a laser tag gun, and I know it still works, but do I have the target? I don't think the target's in here. It's kind of hard to miss, but you pull this off and then you stick like 6, I think it's like 6 batteries in here. But a friend of mine made a sci-fi film for his senior project, and this was my gun inside his crazy world of freedom fighters and stuff. That this was my gun, and this was the best. I had the best gun out of everybody, because this was, I mean, we knew it at the time, but I think if you hold it up now, most kids wouldn't know what it was today. I may even mount that on the wall. That is such, it's hard to top that. That's a cool gun. That's a cool gun. Love the laser tag gun. My parents only bought one though. So we had a sensor and a laser tag gun, and I had a little brother. So we would play like, you know, Stalker and then like the Prey. And then we would go out, and if you got the 6 shots on him, you could get it. So it was more fun to do in the snow when you could throw a snowball back at him. But so this is Playmates. This is an Applause Obi-Wan Kenobi. These came out in 1997. He does have a lightsaber piece somewhere, so hopefully it's in this box. But I'll try to find it. Didn't expect to see that. So let's get to the G.I. Joe stuff. Where is the G.I. Joe stuff? So I'm going to try and show these off as best as I can. This was the Cobra trainer. This is Big Boa, I believe is his name. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. We'll set those there. Here is Tumax and Zama. There we go. And I think as I keep saying these names out loud, maybe my brain may just kick in, remember everybody's name, as I say that. This was one of the guys at the end when I stopped buying figures. I cannot remember his name. He was one of the last ones I ever got. Cannot remember that guy's name. But not from like the original. So here is the Falconer. And I can just remember the Falconer. I can't remember the rest of it. But he does have his bird in there. That was, again, towards the end. Yes. Scrap Iron, who I was able to put back together most of his little rocket launcher piece. I love Scrap Iron. Such a cool figure. And, of course, here is Snake Eyes with his Uzi and Timber and the sword and the backpack. Very cool. I believe this is Airtight. Wish I had that outfit right now to go get groceries. But this is a different bag for me. I must have been running out of bags and stapled them. Unfortunately, here's Ripcord. Just had a friend cosplay as Ripcord. It was fantastic. His rubber band broke. So Ripcord's in pieces, but I have all the pieces, including his rifle. Here's Law and Order. They were the next MP. Well, they were not MPs. He was an MP with a canine unit, like Mutt and Junkyard. Here is the first General Hawk. Now, he doesn't have his backpack or his gun, but I do have his helmet. And he's really loosey-goosey in the hips. So I'm guessing that rubber band's ready to go. Yeah, here's Mutt and Junkyard. And I have Junkyard's mask and the dog. Well, I'm sorry, Mutt's mask and his sniper, not a sniper, he had a MAC-10 Uzi with a silencer. God, I could not remember that yesterday if somebody would ask me that. Here's the fridge. Now, I had a couple people ask me, did I have the fridge? So if you're watching, yes, I had the fridge. Oh, I'm scared. Alpine is ready to go, as in his rubber band's about to break. And I know if I go to something like RetroCon, I can buy the rubber bands, and then some people install them for you, and some people you're on your own. Here's the fully armored Cobra Commander with gun, rifle, and that little air tube that goes to his mouth. Here's Sci-Fi, the sniper, with his gun, backpack, and the tube. This is, and I just found the armor piece for this the other day. This is the Cobra, like, armor set. So you build this, you could build it around a Joe or a Cobra, and then they'd have like an armor suit around them. Just to take out the two main pieces. So then you would have this armor with arms, and had different arms. They'd have arms on it and stuff, but the Joe or Cobra guy could sit inside there. These came in white and blue. They repurposed them in blue, I guess, when they tried to start selling them or try to sell something new. But this piece I found the other day was that if you didn't have a Joe and you just wanted it to be like a robot, you stuck all the pieces around this little rubber frame and it would hold them up. It was pretty clever. So I'm glad I still have that. Dr. Mindbender. He's got his gun, and he's got the weird little device thing, but he doesn't have his little pack. A couple of weird things in here. Bazooka, got all of his gear. That's nice. So this is, I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. There was, they added like 3 dreadnoughts towards the end of when I started collecting. There was the one with the big vehicle truck, and then there was Monkey Wrench, and then there was Dreadnought. This was Dreadnought Air Skift. So you had to put in Zanzibar. So he was just like another version of Zartan, where you got all this like crazy stuff with a guy with a mini vehicle. So here's the vehicles in here. I got the blueprints. He had a spear, a hammer, and I think he had a gun too. It was a pretty cool little vehicle that you got, but they did like one for each price point. So you got one with a mini rig, you got a standalone figure, and then you got one with a Monkey Wrench. I can't remember the name of the other guy who came with the vehicle. I think this is Fast Draw, and he shot rockets. That's cool. Another one that I cannot remember his name for. I think he was some sort of desert trooper, and he came with a bobcat. But he also came with a sword. He was a Joe. Here's my original, can't believe how faded he has become in color, Snow Job. So I actually have two rifles in there for Snow Job, but I don't have his ski poles, but I have a ski. Barbecue, fireman, whose rubber band has disintegrated. Don't have his little water gun. Dial tone, decent shape. All of his parts, including the little mouthpiece for his helmet. Here is Quick Kick, who is missing, looks like one sword maybe. I can't remember if he had one sword or two. I think he just had one. One sword, but he does not have his nunchucks. This is Hit and Run, who was another Mountaineer guy. Does not have his M16, but he does have his climbing gear. Running out of room here. Firefly, who looks like he's about ready to fall apart. He does not have, I do not have his original gun, which was green, or his telephone, but I do have but they re-released guns, I do have that. Some weird guy with a robot, I think he was a mine detector guy. Again, this was towards the end. Blowtorch. Every time I grab them, their rubber bands on their legs are... Oh, Leatherneck. He's complete. I don't think I'm going to take him out of these bags. I was going to update their bags. There's a Sergeant Slaughter, who was never in the military, apparently, or not where he said he was. Dusty. Something Charles Rudat, I think is his real name, because he was based on one of the creators. Jinx. She's a sword short. That's cool. I got Lifeline in here. Let me start putting them back in. Lifeline and Mainframe. And then some sorted weapons here. A couple of pieces. I got another fridge. Rubber tube to something. It's starting to matter. Oh, this little tiny tack is all that I have left of the USS Flag. Wow. I actually have one of these left. So I got, unfortunately, Zap, the bazooka guy, is broken, but he's in here. I'm gonna get a rubber band. I don't have his middle piece. There's Crazy Legs gun. I don't know why I remember this stuff. And I said Lifeline. Another quick kick backpack. Oh, there's Zap's midsection, so I probably could fix Zap, but he's missing an arm. And actually laid down contact paper in the bottom of this box. Here is Bo Jackson, Kenner starting lineup figure. And kept in a Ziploc bag. I'm really bummed that Obi-Wan does not have his lightsaber in here. It's nowhere in here to be found. File cards. I don't know if I have... Tunnel Rat. There was a bunch of guys that I put in the review of, or the rebuild of the hovercraft. So like Beachhead, Hit and Run, they're all up. They were all upstairs. Okay, so Rudat was based. Dusty was based on him, but that's not his name. Mainframe. Barbecue. So Heavy Metal, who was the Mauler tank driver, isn't in this box. So hopefully there's more Joes somewhere. Not the file card to every Joe either. So maybe there is more somewhere. So a lot of G.I. Joe, a lot of cool little things. Some Secret War figures didn't expect to find. And a couple vehicles and such. So I'm just going to try and keep this all G.I. Joe and then move other things over into the other tub. As I'm sorting and the wife's getting happier because things are moving around, but she's also fun and excited with me because we're finding all this cool stuff. And now that we have a little boy, we can actually like set this stuff aside and have it ready for when he's ready to play with it. Maybe not some of these Joes because of the rubber pieces, but who knows? We'll see. There's always ways to fix things. You just glue them straight up, then they can't really move. But this is Bob from Total Toy Recon. Thank you for tuning in. If you're catching this in a replay on Facebook or Instagram or on YouTube, I really appreciate it. We're trying to kill the time. We're trying to have a break from the normal. Our new normal is very odd right now, and we're not 100% like when this is going to go back to being normal, and maybe it never should, as in like we should all learn from this. So thank you for tuning in, and please, tomorrow noon, going to be here again. I found a box over there with some crazy Star Wars stuff in it, a great mixture of different things. Almost all of it is boxed, which means it probably won't take as long. So thank you for tuning in, and that's it. Be safe and have a good day.